On today's show, we look back on the season thus far in the Penrite ProMX Championship presented by AMX Superstores. The centre of attention is on the highly competitive Pirelli MX2 class, and we look back on all the action from round 1 in Wonthaggi, round 2 in Canberra, and the most recent round in Maitland. This is Speedweek.
The Pirelli MX2 class is the official transition into the professional classes of the ProMX Championship. Riders as young as 15 can compete on both 2-stroke and 4-stroke machines. It's the perfect platform for riders to impress the manufacturers in this sport. Let's meet some of the stars of the Pirelli MX2 Championship.
I'm Nathan Crawford, number 199, and I ride for Serco Yamaha. This year, I'm here to win the MX2 Championship.
I'm Dylan Wills, number 64, and I ride on the race line Husqvarna. My biggest competitor this year is whoever's leading the championship.
I'm Jay Wilson, number 6, and I ride for the Yamaha racing team. This year, I'm going for the championship.
I'm Chandler Burns, number 24, and I race for the Davey Motorsports TuneTech support team. This year, I want to get some top 10s and get my name up there in the Australian motocross scene.
I'm Hugh McKay from Tasmania, bike number 46, supported by Ride More Australia. This year I'm chasing a top 5 in the MX2 Championship.
I'm Levi Rogers, number 34, and I ride for Yamaha Racing. This year I'm going for top 10.
I'm Alex Larwood, bike number 5, and I ride for the WR Bulk Nutrient Trace team. My biggest competitor this year is Kyle Webster.
I'm Jesse Dobson, number 14, and I ride for the Serco Yamaha team. This year my goal is to be the Australian MX2 champion. My biggest competitor is Kyle Webster and anyone else in my way.
I'm Kyle Webster, bike number 96, and I ride for the Honda racing team. This year, I'm out to win the championship.
I'm Jar Roberts, bike number 100, and I ride for KTM Australia. My biggest competitor is everyone I'm lining up against.
Hey, I'm Reece Budd, number 22, riding for Yamaha Racing. This year, I'm looking to chase some podium results and looking to finish the season top 5. My biggest competitor is probably myself, but of course everyone else behind the gate, so looking forward to going racing.
We're about to see the gate drop here for race 1 of MX2.
Underway, and who will jump out first? This is going to be very interesting. The first turn is extremely slippery when we watch the practices go out there. A lot of the riders very cautious. One guy completely off the track, almost getting to that photographer. It looks like a Husky, possibly up the front, a wide bike at the moment. We are waiting for a bit of a better picture right now.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was Regan Duffy that, it was Reece Budd that was right up there, number 22 on the Yamaha machine. But he's been shuffled back a few spots. He's back to 4th.
Oh.
So we've got is that
Alex
Larwood?
Wow, oh wow, Larwood just round the outside.
And Kyle Webster just makes the pass there up into 2nd place. So we have got our pole setter in 2nd, and we have got Larwood in the lead. Can you believe that? What an absolute amazing moment for this young kid on the Yamaha machine.
On screen there, though, is Jay Wilson, the 6th Serco Yamaha rider. Now, he is back a fair way. He is definitely one of our favourites going into this race, and we expect to see him up there. He is one of these riders that really push it towards the end of the race, so we're expecting to see him up there. There is, I didn't actually catch that one, sorry, Lee.
That's okay, no, we've just been given the word the official hole shot's gone to number 64, Dylan Wills, so fantastic job to him, a rider who recently injured himself and didn't even think he was going to be able to line up and make it to the start gates here.
Oh, big moment just in the background there for one of the Honda riders.
It's Nathan Crawford.
Crawford on the 199 machine, the Yamaha, blue Yamaha right there. He is also one of the favourites, and did Did you see the goggles then as he went past? It looks like they're already, were they tear-offs, were they?
Yeah, flapping. It's either tear-offs or it's a film that has just gone completely pear-shaped. Now, that is not what you want at the start of a 25-minute plus 1 lap moto.
Absolutely, that was my point. I would hate to be in that position. If you are unable to see on this track, it is going to make your day extremely hard as we see these riders completing their first lap, and it still looks like Larwood that is out in front of Webster, and they are starting to check out on the rest of the field.
I tell you what, I'm loving this aerial shot that we're getting footage here. It really gives good perspective, not only of the racing, but of the layout of the Wonthaggi circuit here. Now, one thing I can tell you about Kyle Webster back in second place, he is one of the fittest and hardest working athletes that I've ever come across in the sport of motocross. He's one of the nicest, most quietly spoken guys you'll ever meet, but on the track, he is an animal. So he will sit there and he will wait for his opportunity to pounce. Still, I can't speak highly enough about this effort from Alex Larwood. I'm just wondering how long it's going to play in this position until, a little bit of a mistake there with Webster's bike, just stepping out a bit sideways, but he looks like he's trying to set up a bit of a pass at the moment.
Yeah, you can see him running some different lines, can't you? Riding around the outside, trying to look for something a bit different and stay out of that roost. You can see the front of Webster's bike right there and his jersey, just how dirty he is. Right now he is starting to set up a move to try and get into the lead up the inside. Beautiful line. Can he make this one stick? He does. Moves himself up into the lead. A great pass there. Set up 2 corners before he knew exactly where it was going to be. Now, Larwood needs to sit on that back wheel and get the toe and keep himself moving forwards. As we see another rider down, Honda rider right there. Just looking for that number. Can you pick that one up, Leaf? Can't quite grab that one. 49. There it is. It's
Caleb Goulet.
So already we're seeing a lot of mistakes out of these riders, a tough track. And one thing that we've seen already out of 2 of the riders, Metcalf earlier and then the other one earlier in the pits in this race, once you go down in the sand like this, your grips, they get completely covered in sand and mud. It makes it very hard to hold on to the bars. Really important when you're in a race like this. And also your gloves fill up completely with mud and sand and also get completely wet. Another thing that makes it difficult to hold those bars. So you see a lot of the riders coming in after a crash trying to fix this issue up so that they can continue their race without any other things slowing them down as they get towards the end of this one.
Well, occasionally on a track like this, when it starts to get muddy, it's important if you do hit the deck, quite often it's good to go down on your forearms with a clenched fist. Don't put your palms down and slide them across the mud. I remember doing a Supercross race with you, Hammy, in '97, where it rained that much. Our whole Supercross track was underwater. I remember just about all of us lined up on the start line with a rag out the side of our pants. And if you go down and you get mud on the palms of your hands, you pull that rag out, you give them a quick little wipe, and boom, you're backing into it again.
Last lap's around 1:46, so the pace is back for Webster. That one, but Larwood has found a new breath of life as they went around that last lap, and he is really stepping it up at the moment. Great ride, and as you said, something we didn't really expect to see so early in this race, to have Larwood up the front. Constantino still in there in 3rd place. What a ride for him. Reese Bard has moved himself up into 4th place on the Honda 22 machine, so great to see him moving up as well.
Just another quick little reminder here, the race 25 minutes plus 1 lap. In years past, we're used to seeing the MX1 category get the big 30 minutes plus a lap, where the MX2 tends to be a little bit shorter. Ooh. This year, we've seen a couple of back-to-back mistakes from Webster, haven't we? He's feeling the pressure from his young gun recruit who trains with him in the same program. These guys have done so many laps around Wonthaggi. They know this track inside out. As I was saying, we're approaching that halfway point of the race. Now, this is where these guys, they're not starting to get physically tired, but this is where you can make a mental mistake. Concentration, it's such an important thing, and you can quite often see one of the big guns make a bit of a mistake. Larwood's just started to drop back just a tad now as he steps out a little sideways out of that rut there. But we have seen a nice little lead pulled out now from Kyle Webster. He is just going to keep hammering those laps out at the same rate, and good luck to anyone if they want to try to continue at that same pace.
Yeah. 47 seconds that last time around. And we see Larwood has dropped into the 48. We are that half race distance, or over half race distance at the moment, so the fitness certainly is coming into play.
Hammy, I'm going to say something's happened a little bit. Nothing major, but definitely a mistake's happened to Larwood because he's dropped back a good 4 or 5 seconds. So we're going to need to keep tabs on this this lap tab when it comes up after the next lap.
Well, they said they didn't rip the track too deep, but I can tell you that corner looks like it is starting to develop. A lot of big rolling whoops as they went around there. That time, it is still Webster up and over the finish line. Tabletop to knock another lap down. He has dropped back into the 48s as well, so certainly here is our second place rider on screen. I would think that the lap riders have played a bit of a part in that.
Yeah, I think you'll find something's happened about halfway through that lap there that's caused that gap to happen between Kyle Webster and Alex Larwood. However, that 4-second gap between those two boys, and then it continues to drop back to 22 seconds now back to Jai Constantino. But he has pulled out a little bit of a gap now over Reese Budd. He's got himself a 5-second gap. So wow. I cannot speak highly enough for Jai Constantino, a rider who we came through my program on BCP Honda as a factory junior team rider. When he turned senior, just was he succumbed to a few little injuries here or there. It just never quite came to fruition. This is by far the best race I've seen him. This is a breakout race for him.
Yeah, that is a lot. And again, as I said earlier, hard pill to swallow for these top riders of that team to you know, go back to the pits and see how much these guys pulled away from him in the first race. It will be different in the second one. There's a lot of racing to go before they get back out on track. The track is going to change a lot. It's going to throw a lot of spanners in the work, but it's going to be hard to rebound off that confidence-wise to come out there and push for that win in the next race.
Have a look at the form of Alex Larwood at the moment. Fresh out of juniors a year and a half ago. This kid looks like a seasoned veteran. Beautiful body position. He's got a good head on his shoulders, and I've watched him come through juniors and win all these Aussie titles. When there's pressure on the line, I love to see a young rider who doesn't have an old head on their shoulders be able to rise to the occasion when there's a lot of pressure. It's such a good thing to see, and you rarely see it, do you?
Yeah, his style, and you know, I haven't seen really many mistakes out of him. He has slowed up just a little bit, but this is a solid ride. Very solid. His style looks tremendous going through there. He looks really comfortable on the bike. If he can just keep pushing through that, you know, there may be some pressure towards the end of this race, but I think that second place is secured for him. I don't think anyone's going to catch up to him.
What I'm looking forward to seeing is the battle between Reese Budd and Jesse Dobson as they cross the line this time. Rain continuing to fall, so it's really starting to come down hard at the moment. Now, this track, we've said, oh, it's great, it's copping so much rain, etc., etc. Just like any track, it can only take so much rain before that mud starts to, before the dirt starts to lose its consistency, and then we have some struggles on our hands.
Yeah, and that will bring up some new riders, won't it, also? We look at our times. Wow, okay, so third and fourth, the last lap times. That is going to be getting close. The 22 Yamaha rider, the blue Yamaha rider of Reese Budd, just posted a 154, and the rider behind him, the 14 Serco Yamaha rider, Jesse Dobson, a 151. That's a 3-second difference in that lap alone. He is not that far. He's only 3 or so seconds back. That is where the battle is going to be very soon for these guys.
Up and over, and the last lap board has come out, Danny Ham. One more lap to go for Kyle Webster on the factory Honda racing machine. Not too far back to second place with Alex Larwood, just 6 seconds back. He has really hung in tow.
He's done very well to stay up there in that position. Really solid ride right now. You say the bike is nice and clean. Well, they're riding out there in a pressure washer at the moment, Lee Hogan. I don't think any bike's going to need much of a clean when it comes back in. And that's one thing to note too, is that at the moment, the way it sits, there's no big amounts of mud clinging to the bike, changing the geometry of the bike, the way it handles. It is still relatively light at the moment, so hopefully we can get away with this day and it continues just to remain the way it is at the moment, continues to give us a good track to be able to race these races on.
So as we see, we've got under half a lap to go for our first and second place getters, and they're deep amongst the lapped riders, Hammy. Now, they can be an absolute menace, shall we say, if they don't know that you're coming through, and especially if you're the race leader, Kyle Webster, you're the first one to come across the lapped riders. They don't know you're coming through.
Very close.
And that is what I was just about to say. Final lap, in amongst the lapped riders, anything can happen. You just need to keep it on two wheels at this stage. And for someone like Alex Larwood, who is got 40 seconds ahead of third place, and look at the battle.
I know. We're keeping an eye on these times on our timing monitor, and there's only half a second between third and fourth, so that is going to really play out well. But this is our race leader on the final lap, coming through these enormous, horrible, I would say, rollers for the final time in Moto number 1 to get this championship underway. What a start it is for Kyle Webster.
An amazing ride and almost wire to wire. Not quite, he had to make a pass at the start of the race, but what a fantastic job for the factory Honda rider, Kyle Webster, as he slaps the handlebars down. He is pumped, and that is a way to start your championship campaign. Fantastic job also to second place rider Alex Larwood, and he is on the WBR Bulk Nutrients Yamaha machine. Great job to him, and they are light years ahead of third and fourth place. But let's see who can hold on for third.
Yeah, well, we should be seeing them come into screen almost right now. It's been very close. What a statement by the first two riders over the rest of this field.
There he is. Reese Budd comes through for second place, third place, sorry. A fantastic job there. All right, let's check out our results here for the MX2, brought to you by Pirelli for Moto 1. Kyle Webster with a fantastic win from Alex Larwood in second place. Reese Budd, also Yamaha mounted there, rounding out the top three. Jesse Dobson and Nathan Crawford makes out your top 5. Jay Wilson, Jai Constantino, awesome job for the privateer.
Levi Rogers also there, and if what we're seeing is correct, YZ250, did we have a couple of two-strokes out there really ripping it up? That would have been great to see as well.
And rounding out our back-end places, shall we say here. Good job for Brock Ninnis there in 22nd place. It's time now to head down to Rihanna, who is down there with our winner from race number 1 of the MX2.
Yeah, congratulations to Kyle Webster from the Honda racing team. You've drawn first blood, Kyle. Awesome job out there. Just talk us through the conditions firstly. Crazy, crazy conditions for you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, after about 20 months off racing due to COVID, it's a nice way to come out and start the season. And yeah, halfway through that moto, it just started absolutely torrentially raining. So threw a little bit of a spanner in the works, but you know, it's all part of it. It's good fun. This is what motocross is about, and yeah, it's good.
What a way to kick off your season. Yourself and Alex Larwood, you had an incredible gap towards the rest of the field. You must be really excited to get your season started that way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, me and Alex, we actually trained together during the week a lot, so that was awesome for him. And yeah, that just felt like, honestly, a training moto with me and him riding together. So to kick the season off like that for both of us was awesome. And yeah, one more moto today, and hopefully we can do the same.
I know it's been a long time since we've had national motocross happening in Australia. Does it just feel good, a bit of a weight off the shoulders to get that first one done?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I was saying, our pre-season went for nearly 20 months, I suppose. So yeah, to get that off the shoulders was good. You know, that much time off racing is hard, but obviously, yeah, work hard and get back out here. So
we look forward to seeing you in the Moto 2 this afternoon. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Let's take a look at the lineup for MX2 Moto 2, Danny Ham.
Zachary Watson is out there. Ricky Latimer, Alex Larwood was very fast earlier on.
Incredible.
Jay Wilson, we expect to be out there. James Davison, Jesse Bishop, Brandon Steele, Jesse Dobson, who had a very fast race, a few moments though in that Moto number 1. Reese Budd is also out there on the 22.
Now let's briefly touch on Moto 1 and what an incredible race for Kyle Webster, who was almost untouchable. It was only really Alex Larwood who was able to sort of stay with him, and wonder if Kyle Webster will be able to come up trumps again here in Moto 2 and make it a double victory. We're about to find out.
Well, the guys, there's plenty of nervous down there on the start line at the moment. MX2 is about to get underway for Moto number 2, and there was plenty of pace early on. The 5-second board has turned sideways. We are set to get this one underway. Who will jump out first? Oh, wheel spin by Crawford there. Is that going to hurt him? I think so.
Yeah.
Out wide. Oh, he's going to sweep around. Not too bad a start. There is a Serco Yamaha right there in the middle. A Yamaha up the inside. I can't pick up that number. It doesn't appear to be someone that is one of the top guys, I don't think. But what a start. One rider down in the first turn, a Husky rider. As we try and pick up our riders, there is Jay Constantino.
Constantino. Yep. Another top three. Looks he's either second or third.
Another rider just
there
down
we
the
see
back.
Alex Larwood. He's Kyle Webster is ahead of Reese Budd there as he already got himself into the lead. He has. Now that spells disaster for the rest of the pack. Reese Budd, an incredible start, but Jai Constantino, I can't say enough about this young lad. An incredible ride in that first one until he had a mistake and dropped himself back into the middle of the pack, but he was top three for so long. Kyle Webster's already starting to check out.
There is Crawford up the inside. So a great start by Crawford certainly helped, but the hole shot is being awarded to the 22 machine of Reese Budd, the 7 hole shot award to Reese Budd. So a good start. We expected Reese Budd to be up there more last race. A few little problems, I think. He is one of the contenders that should be running up the front, but I tell you what, there is no one at the moment as it sits that's going to be able to run the pace of this guy, the 96 of Kyle Webster on that Honda.
Well, when he's in a position like this, it's just so rare to see, you know, any massive form of mistakes from Kyle Webster. He's just so rock solid when the track gets deep and soft. And traditionally, he doesn't normally get great starts. So to see him come out after such a good, solid victory in that first race, to come out and do what he's doing here, I think it's going to be pretty clear sailing. I don't want to make too many predictions here, but to go 1-1 at round 1 here at Wonthaggi will be incredible and an amazing way to start the season for the factory Honda rider.
One guy I did catch a brief glimpse of a moment ago, as I will get back to that in a second, as we see Jai going around the outside of Reese Budd. That was a brave move right there. 184 also having some troubles. That's Emma
Milicevic.
Yes.
Yeah. She's one of Australia's best women female racers. Incredibly strong out there on the bike, and so good to see her out there mixing it up in the MX2 category.
Well, Crawford, a great run around the outside, more momentum coming out of that rut, and got himself over that jump just that little bit faster, and has helped him make that pass on Reese Budd. Now sits in third place.
Jai Constantino, what a breakthrough race for this guy. Victorian, he's been through a lot of injuries. He's got so much potential. It doesn't matter if you watch this kid on a BMX, on a mountain bike. I like to call him the trail rat. That's what he likes to go by. It's his nice little nickname. He is so talented on anything two wheels, but he is yet to show his full potential, and he's out there doing that at the moment.
And in front of all these big name riders, big teams, what a ride by him. Crawford still sits there in third, but I tell you, he has got some pressure right now from Dobson. Jesse Dobson, the 14 machine, just to your right of the screen. He is really closing in. Was right on the back wheel just a moment ago. Maybe a slight mistake as they come past our mechanics area. Have a look at the gap that our leader has right now. There is Jai in second place. Dobson now in the screen, and Crawford and then Dobson as they come past. There is Jay Wilson with a much better ride this time around.
And it looks like Reese Budd's managing to make his way back a little bit. He's gone from up there in the top 2 back to 6th place now. Now, I know Reese Budd, he came through in my junior program. He's such a talented rider, but he always suffered from a little bit of arm pump, right? Now, if you watch him really closely, he rides super strong, elbows really high. He's such a bulldog of a rider, and on a track like this where you need to stay nice and loose, you can be susceptible to pumping up a little bit. So let's hope, have a look at the intensity that Dobson threw it into the corner. Now, Hammy, you and I have been teammates a number of times, right? Now, you would back me in when I say you never want to get beaten by anyone out there on the track, but the worst person to get beaten by is your teammate, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You don't want to get beaten by your teammate. Now, these two have got their own little battle going on. There is nothing worse than having, it's like a red flag being waved in front of you, like you're over in Spain with the run of the bulls or something. You're just like, please, I need to get past you, and I'll do whatever it takes to get past. However, you might not want to take each other out. That might not go down too well.
No, last thing you need is to face the wrath of someone like Gav from Serco as you come back into the track. If you've taken your fellow team rider down, but there's a little sections of the track, isn't there, that one of these riders is stronger than the other. We saw Dobson right on the back wheel as we got through those big sweeping left-handers and right-handers, and this part here seems to be a bit better for Crawford. By the time they come back across in front of the mechanics area, Crawford has that gap out just a little bit more. Jai Constantino is about to get some pressure from Crawford. A lap rider goes down right in front of him. Jai has had to make an evasive manoeuvre and get around him. There is a good battle there. 4 riders all tighten themselves up at the moment.
And unfortunately, poor Jai Constantino was in the rut that lap rider had gone down.
Look at this.
And that has dropped him back into the clutches of these two boys. A double foot dab from Jesse Dobson. That will strain the old adductor muscles before you know it.
Jai is doing everything he can. Now, he made it around about 15 minutes last time, didn't he, before a mistake that put him back just a little bit, but the pressure is on right now as Crawford tries to blast around the outside. He's going to control the inside. He's going to have to push it in hard if he wants to make this pass. He certainly does. And Nathan Crawford has moved himself up into second place. Can Jesse Dobson do the same right now and not let Crawford get away? It's almost like Crawford has found another gear.
Yeah, it is almost like he found another gear, and this is where Jai Constantino, as exceptional as the rider's been so far, he needs to not let this unravel. He needs to finish off the job that he started here. Now let's have a quick look at the replay here in the pass with Nathan Crawford. Snuck it up the inside on a very technical part of the track where the bike can go side to side. Now let's, I was hoping they were going to show the little kick into the corner there.
Yeah, I thought they were going to show that again. It was a close moment, but when you're pushing those kind of levels, you really need that last lap time can't be right.
We're waiting to have a look on screen because, ladies and gentlemen, our lap times are telling us that a 1:58 was done by Kyle Webster in the last time and a 1:51 from Nathan Crawford. Now, if that's correct, let's drop the gap down to only 4.5 seconds. Now, I'm just hoping it's just a little bit of a mistake, perhaps, from Kyle Webster, and he's going to get back on those rails again. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm trying to pick up back, if we can pan out just a little bit and have a look and see where Nathan Crawford is, if he actually, in fact, is 4.5 seconds back. We could have a race on our hands.
Well, if those times are correct, as we see there is just entering into the corner right now is Crawford, so still a little ways back at the moment, not quite close enough, but we do see Dobson now putting all that pressure on Jai as they head up towards this tabletop. A couple more lapped riders are going to play into it. Larwood's speed that we saw a moment ago could be a little bit stalled as we see Dobson up the inside. It's a carbon copy from the lap before. Serco Yamaha riders moving past Jai as they go now into second and third place.
Now, a couple of corners back, I just saw a tiny little puff of smoke come out the back of Jesse Dobson's bike. So let's keep a look on that there. I know it's not exceptionally deep. The rain hasn't been falling. It's not too gnarly out there at the moment. So let's hope that was just a little one-off situation. We'll keep our eyes peeled on that one. Doesn't look to be doing any more of it.
Half race distance we're about to enter right now. So I guess they are taking a bit of a pause, you would think, in their riding, trying to maintain a little bit of energy towards the end of the race, you know, before they do a final big charge towards the last 5 or so minutes of this race. But their times are still pretty quick. They almost matched once again.
And they both dropped down 1 second faster than last time, both in the mid 152s. So Kyle Webster has responded and he knows what he needs to do. And once again, we see him coming past the camera. He's got a good 4.5 to 5 second lead. Now, there's still 10 minutes to go in this race. Anything can happen. You need to bank on the fact of Kyle Webster's fitness. He can keep going at this pace all day long. However, I've seen many races where Crawford charges all the way to the finish. So it could come into a mind games thing here as Webster's bike steps out to the side entering that corner. Well, it's little things like that combined with, if you have a little look over your shoulder coming out of the corner and you see the guy in second has made up 2 meters on you, that can start to play on your mind a little bit.
Yeah, well, it also happened the corner before with that one. And he has made a couple of mistakes this lap. And you're right, these riders can see the guy in front, the guy behind, and you know when they've made up even 1 meter, and you start playing on your mind. where am I going slow? Where am I going fast? What have I got to do differently? And all of a sudden, these little mistakes start showing up. And that's when you will have the rider catching you up more and more and more.
Yeah, well, I briefly mentioned before about Nathan Crawford and how quite a few times in the past over the years, I've seen him come from terrible starts and charge right the way through. Now, I don't know what his off-season's been like. Technically, I don't know whether he's coming back from an injury or what, but we're about to see the Nathan Crawford that I know. He'll charge all the way to the finish line, and he's not going to fade at all. Unfortunately for him, he's up against the workhorse, the fittest of all of the MX2 riders, Kyle Webster, who only knows one speed. I can guarantee you he's got enough energy in the tank to do 40 minutes, Hammy.
Without a doubt, he'll be able to make it all the way through to this one. And this is a textbook performance, isn't it, by Kyle Webster on screen. A few little mistakes here and there, but majority of his race has been almost perfection. And did you just see there in that technical rut? Now, that's something that the really good riders do. Ruts typically are beautiful for the first 3 quarters. As you come out, they start to get a little bit bumpy and choppy, and they'll kick your bike around. He used the first half of the rut, and he didn't accidentally pop out of the rut. He chose to exit the rut 3 quarters of the way through and drove through smooth, really nice dirt. That's incredible technique, and something that any of the kids at home that do any of their own form of riding, you need to watch this stuff carefully. You can pick up on some exceptional technique. Really is finding some good lines, isn't he? He's developing his own lines. There is Reece Budd. He's also still continuing on, trying to... we're still right there on the back wheel of Wilson. Now, I was expecting a little bit more out of Wilson, but, you know, still solid performance to start the championship. We know that Wilson is very fast and will be up there in later championship rounds. But I definitely did expect Wilson to be up there just a little bit more. Now, let me just quickly take our attention to our lap times here, and something that I'm really impressed with, and something that we should always try to remember. If you can try near the end of a race to keep your fastest lap time all the way towards the finish, you don't want to be dropping off 2 or 3 seconds a lap to your fastest. That means you're fading, you're not fit enough. And let's have a look here. Nathan Crawford, his fastest time was a 1:51. Well, the very last lap, sure, he got a 1:53. The lap before, he did a 1:51. So he's keeping his times right the way up to his sprint pace. We've got Dobson, whose fastest time was a 1:51. The last lap, he was a 1:52. And this is really impressive from these guys, just to show that kind of pace. And it's not like they're easing their way into it. They're sprinting straight from the get-go. One more time around for Webster on the 96 machine. And he still looks so comfortable on that bike right now, working his way through the rollers for the last time. And I can promise you there is the biggest smile under that helmet right now. He was very happy after the first round as we interviewed him. After his first win, he felt comfortable. He didn't even look like he was breathing hard. And I think, as you said, he is one of the fittest guys out there. He is not struggling at all. No, he's doing it with ease at the moment, and he loves this part of the race. And in fact, I almost think sometimes he prefers to be battling with someone at this part of the race. You remember a couple of years ago, the last time we ran the National Championship, he was in a position battling with Wilson Todd, and it come right down to the wire. I remember watching those two battle, just going hammer and tongs right the way through to the final lap. This is a good, fun way to do it, though. This is a nice, not too much pressure on, just edging his way ever so close to the finish line. He's stretched out that lead now to 14 seconds over second place. What an immaculate day for the Honda rider. I'll just point out, too, that that's Dylan Will just there. He just passed 24. He's just about to go past Chandler Burns. Chandler's in 10th. I know. He is lapped all the way through to 10th place. Will's up the inside there of Burns, trying to make that position up. Wills was there in 11th. Now he sits in 10th, so one more spot for him. A solid ride to get top 10 in MX2 at this level. But on a track like this, there is just some guys that shine. And right now, the Honda rider of Kyle Webster has done absolutely everything right today.
He certainly has, as he makes his way towards the finish line. What a day. He has barely seen nothing but daylight ahead of him as he comes through the final corner, up and over the finish line. A spectacular double victory for Kyle Webster and the factory Honda rider in the MX2 Moto 2 checkered flag right there, brought to you by Pirelli. And he is pumped. A big fist pump, double fist pump down onto the handlebars there. And as we were talking about before, Jai Constantino...
Crawford, Larwood.
Wow, where did Larwood come from? That was a very, very close finish. I need to quickly pay respect there to Jai Constantino, holding on to 5th place. MX2 Moto 2 and a win by Kyle Webster. No, a clean sweep by Kyle Webster. Fantastic job.
Dominating performance, really schooled the rest of the field here today. Nathan Crawford came across in 2nd place. Jesse Dobson, Alex Larwood, really impressed with the way he rode. Jay Constantino, he is someone to watch for in the next few rounds as well.
So impressed with Jai. Great ride from Reese Budd as well. Jay Wilson, not quite what we expect from him. We'll see more later in the year. Hugh McKay from over in Tasmania. Jai Roberts, we spoke about him earlier. Fantastic comeback from injury. And Dylan Wills.
Plenty of riders still out there working their way around and having an absolute ball racing at this level. There's a lot of good riders out there still to go. We're going to go down to Rihanna now with our winners.
What an awesome day of racing to kick off the season for 2021. The Pirelli MX2 Championship in 3rd position on the Serco Yamaha bike. Jesse Dobson, congratulations, Jesse. As you just said off camera, it's been a hell of a day out there for you guys.
Yeah, it has. I feel like we've had everything thrown at us, from sun to rain to the cold wind. It's been pretty crazy. So I'm glad to get out of this one nice and safe and with a solid result. So
congratulations to be on the podium for the first event of the year. And in 2nd place, we spoke about his gate choice at the start of the race. He started from the outside, but it did well for him on the podium in 2nd place. Nathan Crawford, congratulations.
Yeah, that was a bit of a, I feel like it was a smart tactic for me. It was safe out there. There was always a bit of carnage in that first turn on the inside. So it's been a hell of a ride. The last 6 weeks ago today, I broke my shoulder, and it was a question mark whether I was even going to be here. And to land on the podium, honestly, I couldn't be happier. It's been a long 6 weeks. A lot of mental strength was tested, and yeah, just happy to be here.
It's an awesome day for the Serco Yamaha team, and taking out the victory once again for the Honda racing team, we have Kyle Webster. Congratulations, Kyle. What an awesome day you've had so far.
Yeah, it's been great. So honestly, I couldn't have wanted to start the championship off in a better way. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say other than a massive thanks to our sponsors, my team, everyone who stuck behind us during the tough times during COVID, and yeah, to get the round win is a good thank you towards them, and yeah, no, it's much appreciated.
Just talk us through how difficult it has been here today. The conditions have thrown everything at you, but to get 2 wins, I mean, it's certainly been fantastic.
Yeah, it's just a classic day down here in Melbourne, 4 seasons in one day. So no, it was good. I'm stoked. You know, it was definitely tough. The track was gnarly, and shout out to Ross Beaton, who put in an awesome effort to keep the track the way it is with how much rain we got over this weekend. So thanks to everybody, and yeah, get ready for Canberra.
Congratulations to our 3 podium place getters for the Pirelli MX2 Moto 2. We had Jesse Dobson, Nathan Crawford and Kyle Webster.
Our look back on the Pirelli MX2 class continues after the break as we look back on round 2 from the nation's capital.